Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful scarf. Apparently the stitch is called the Fairbrook stitch. And yeah, we're going to be making this Fairbrook scarf. This scarf is composed of stitches that you've done before in other tutorials on this channel. So it should be nothing new. When they come up with these fancy names for these scarves, basically, and I'm included, we're just recycling stitches and using them in various combinations to create different patterns. So yeah, let's enjoy today's Fairbrook scarf. Things you will need include some yarn. I've been meaning or wanting to use this for a while, but you know, it's such a vivid color. It's like, what would this be good for? But I think it would be good for this scarf. Because of the pattern, I think a solid color will work best, because if it was a variegated yarn, then that would kind of take away from the pattern. So that's why I opted for a solid color. You don't need this much. If I can find a link, I'll leave a link to this yarn in the description. This is a medium 4 yarn, calls for a 5mm crochet hook. However, you guys know I use a 6mm a lot of times for my medium 4 because of my tension. That's J and that's US. You also need a pair of scissors and a darning weaving tapestry needle, and these are optional. These are just stitch markers, okay? If you're a beginner, you may want to get some stitch markers or use some stitch markers for this tutorial. If you don't have stitch markers, you can use paper clips, you can use yarn of a different color. Just something to mark the stitch. Safety pins also work. Alright, let's get to this pattern. So we're going to take our yarn and we're going to wrap it around our finger like that, twist, exchange. Now we're going to wrap this over and around our finger like that. We're going to pull this loop over that one and off the finger while pulling up on the one that's still on your finger. We're going to insert the crochet hook into the loop, and then we will pull to tighten. So you're going to want to crochet a multiple of 4. For me, that's going to be 20. 4 times 5 is 20. So let's get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My yarn is splitting, so I'll go back. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay? So 20 chains for me gives me that width, which I think is good, okay? And if you're unsure, you can always just do a quick count, okay? For instance, my yarn started splitting, so I had to take one out. I think I kept count, but, you know, there's that uncertainty there, so I'm just going to do a quick stitch count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So, alright, so I have 20 chains. Now I'm going to make a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So here's our hook. Here's the first chain from the hook. This is the second chain from the hook. So I'm going to go into that chain and I'm going to make a single crochet. Now when we make a single crochet, we do not yarn over first, we just enter the stitch. In this case, that stitch is a chain. So skipping the first one, going into the second one like that, yarn over, pull through to the front. Now I have 2 loops on my crochet hook, 1, 2, and I'll yarn over and go through both loops, 1 and 2. Now I'm going to find the next chain. The next chain is just right here. How do we know that's the next one? Well, this is the previous chain and it's occupied by that single crochet. So this is the next chain. In that chain, we're going to put a single crochet, so we don't yarn over first, we just enter. Now we yarn over, pull through to the front for 2 loops, 1, 2, yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. And now we're just going to put 1 single crochet in every chain across, okay? So continue doing that and I'll meet you on the other side. I've made my way to the other side. I put that single crochet in the last chain, and now I have all of my stitches. Now, how many stitches, single crochets in this case, should I have? Well, we know we skipped a chain stitch, so if we crochet a multiple of 4, and in my case it was 4 times 5, which is 20. If I skipped 1, so I should subtract 1 away from 20, which gives me 19. That means I should have 19 single crochets. So let's do a quick count before we move on to row 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, so I'm good with my stitch count. Now we'll move on. So at this point we're going to chain 1. Okay, now you guys see, I like to describe this when we crochet into this last stitch, in this case of row 1, but for the next row it'll be considered the first stitch of the row. It's the same stitch that this chain 1 is coming out of, okay? And I think it's more obvious from this view, but when I turn my work, it'll still be that same stitch. So I've chained 1, I turn my work, and there's the chain, and here's that first stitch of row 2, or the last stitch of row 1. That's where I'm going to crochet. Into that stitch I'm going to make a half double crochet. So for those of you who don't know or remember how to make a half double crochet, here we go. You yarn over just like you would if you're making a double crochet, and then you slice the icing off the top of the cake, off the top of the stitch, okay? That same stitch that chain 1 was coming out of, okay? Now we yarn over and pull through to the front. We get 3 loops, 1, 2, 3, just like the double crochet. But here is where we deviate. We yarn over, and instead of going through only 2 loops and then yarning over and going through 2 loops again, when we yarn over, we go through all 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. Okay? We're going to put 1 half double crochet in every single crochet across. So let me make you another one. Yarn over. Here's the next stitch. I like to rotate when I'm recording these so you guys can see the tops very easily. And then slice the icing off the top of the cake. That's going through the top of the stitch. Yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, go through everything. In this case, 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. Yarn over. Here's the next stitch. Slice the icing off the top of the cake. Yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops. Yarn over, go through everything. Okay? So continue putting 1 half double crochet in every single crochet across. And yes, you should still have a total of 19 half double crochets. I will meet you once we get to making that final half double crochet of row 2. See you there. So I currently have 18 half double crochets made in row 2. And I'm almost at the end. On the end it can be a little tricky to find that final stitch, but you know it just has to be there, right? So as I always suggest, rotate so you give yourself an aerial view and you can see the top of the stitch. Okay, you guys can probably see it now. That's the top of the stitch. That's where I'm going to put my 19th half double crochet. So yarn over, go in there, slicing the icing off the top of the cake, yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops, yarn over, go through everything. Alright, make sure you're maintaining your 19 stitches throughout this pattern. Now we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and just like before in that very first stitch, the same one that chain 1 is coming out of, that's where we're going to put our first half double crochet. And in the next 2 stitches we're going to also put a half double crochet. And here's the third one. So the first 3 stitches of row 3 we put a half double crochet. Now we're going to make a front post double crochet. Alright? So we've put a stitch in there and there and there. So 1, 2, 3. Here's the next stitch, the 4th one. Okay? And that is a half double crochet. That's where we're going to post around. Okay? So an easy way to find it for those beginners who don't really have an eye for stitches yet is you see your half double crochet, go just under it to the previous row, and that's where you're going to insert your crochet hook. Alright? So because it's a double crochet, albeit a front post, but it's a double crochet, we know we yarn over first. Alright, we find our stitch and we go down, and now we're on the right side of the stitch that we're going to be posting around. So we insert our crochet hook on the right side of that stitch right there. Okay, it goes out to the back and it's going to go around. So it's out to the back, it's going to go around the stitch like that. Okay, now we're going to bring our yarn forward and yarn over. Pull through, okay, to the front. Now we have 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Alright, so we just made a front post double crochet. Now, the reason that I said the beginners, they might want to have some stitch markers handy is because this is the tricky part. You may not know where you should crochet the next stitch. And by the way, we're going to follow this front post double crochet up with 3 more half double crochets, and then we're going to make another front post, and that's going to be the pattern. Okay, so what do I mean? You may not know. Well, we did a front post double crochet, which means if you pull this back, it means we didn't crochet into that stitch, right? So from the front, you might think you need to go, I'm going to put the stitch marker there so you can easily see it. You might think you need to go there, right? Because it's the next top that you see from this perspective, right? But when we rotate it, we see that's actually the stitch that we skipped when we posted around it. So in actuality, we need to go there, okay? So that's why I say a stitch marker might be helpful. And I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll show you how to use the stitch marker on the next iteration. Okay, so remember, we're skipping that one. It's already been crocheted around when we posted on it. So this is the next stitch. Don't crochet in that. It should always be an available top behind the front post double crochet. This is the stitch we want. Alright, now that we've cleared that up, we'll get back to it. So remember, not that one, but this one, and we're putting a half double crochet in there. So slice the icing off the top of the cake and make your half double crochet. Now, just to check, let's take a look in back and make sure we actually skipped a stitch back there. Yep, we did. There's that top. There's that stitch that we skipped right there. Okay, so we're doing what we should. Alright, so as I said, after this front post double crochet, we need to do 3 more half double crochets. So I did 1, let's do 2 more. 1 in the next 2. 2, 3. So before we even make this front post double crochet, we can mark the stitch that we're going to crochet into after we make that front post double crochet. So this is the stitch that we're posting around right there. So we know that this is going to be the stitch that we should crochet our next half double crochet in. Okay, so you can mark it like that if you need to. Now let's get back to business. We're making the front post double crochet. So it's a double crochet, so we know we yarn over. Remember, I told you a little trick to know where to go is to follow the stitch down to that row, and that's where you're going to insert your crochet hook. So I'm following the stitch down. Now I'm on the right side of the stitch. You see it go out to the back, and then go around, and just on the other side of the stitch, bring it back out to the front like that. Bring our yarn forward, yarn over, and pull through to the front for 3 loops. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. Yarn over, go through 2, 1, 2. And we've made another front post double crochet. Now you clearly see the stitch marker, and that's telling you where to put the first of the next 3 half double crochets. So now you don't have to second guess yourself and wonder, is this the next top? You already know because you marked it that that's the next top. So let's do that. Put a half double crochet into the next stitch, which is there. And then you can take the stitch marker out and then continue with your next 2 half double crochets, because remember, it's 3 half double crochets followed by a front post double crochet. But also you can go back and look behind this front post double crochet to make sure you see an available top. Okay, just one, and there it is. Okay, so that's evidence of the fact that we actually did skip the stitch that we posted around, and it's only one, so yes, the stitch marker method worked. All right, so now I'm just going to put a front post double crochet around the next one, and then I'm going to follow that up with 3 half double crochets. I know, because I've been crocheting for a while, and many of you guys I'm sure won't need the stitch markers, but it can help if you're unsure. Okay, so I know it's not that one, I know it's that one. That's where I'm going to put my half double crochet. Next stitch, half double crochet. Next stitch, half double crochet. Next stitch, front post double crochet. Follow the current stitch down, go on the right side, out to the back, back out to the front, yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and then we'll end with 3 half double crochets. I know that's not it, that's the stitch. So 1, 2, and then remember that end stitch can be kind of hard to find. Just rotate it, give yourself an area view, and you clearly see the top, slicing the icing off the top of the cake. Yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops, yarn over, go through everything. Okay, you can go back and check, make sure you see, okay, there's an available top, there's an available top, there's an available top, there's an available top. So just one top. Those available tops are the stitches that we crocheted the front post double crochet, okay, onto, we posted around. All right. So I know that was a lot of detail. It's not hard, but as I said, I know for beginners it can be tricky where to go. So I just wanted to be very thorough in my explanation of that. All right, so we've crocheted 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now we've basically set up the scarf for the pattern. Basically, we've set it up. So we've done everything we need to do to get us started, and now the next 2 rows, rows 4 and 5, are the rows that we'll be repeating for the duration of the scarf. Okay, very easy. Okay, so chain 1, turn your work. In that first stitch, we're going to put a half double crochet, slicing the icing off the top of the cake. And then guess what, you guys? In every stitch across, we're going to put a half double crochet. So we know that the first 3 stitches that we crocheted into should be half double crochet, and that 4th stitch should be a front post double crochet. But it doesn't matter, because the front post double crochet has a top just like every other stitch. So we just find that top, yarn over, slice the icing off the top of the stitch, in this case off the top of the front post double crochet, and make your half double crochet. Yes, remember, half double crochet in every stitch across, even in the front post double crochets. Okay, and once you get to the other side, you should have a total of how many? Yes, 19 stitches. That's the magic number if you started with the multiple of 4, that is 20, like I did. If you did 4 times 7 and you started with 28 chains, then that means you should have 27 stitches. Okay, so it's always 1 less than how many ever chains you made. All right, and once again, we're on the end. So rotate to give yourself that area view so you can more clearly identify the top. Here it is. Slicing the icing off the top of the cake. I swear, when you give yourself that area view, it really just clarifies things for you. All right, so that's row 4. Just 1 half double crochet in every stitch across, and you should still be maintaining the same number of stitches. In this case, 19 for me. Row 5 is this, chain 1. So at the beginning of every row, you always chain 1. Okay, turn your work. All right, and in these first 3 stitches, we're going to put a half double crochet. So yarn over, slice the icing off the top of the cake. 1, next stitch, half double crochet. 2, next stitch, half double crochet. 3. All right, as you might have expected, now we're going to get back to the front post double crochets. And you also might be able to see why we're doing a front post double crochet instead of a front post half double crochet. We need a slightly taller stitch to reach down here, so that's why we're using the double crochet. Okay, the front post double crochet stitch. Now, I think from here on out it'll be easier to do these front post double crochets because we're just doing a front post double crochet around the previous front post double crochet. And those are the stitches that are protruding out, right? Okay, so we're going to go on from the front on the right side of the stitch, back out to the back and back out to the front, just on the other side. That's how we're going to crochet the front post double crochet. Alright, so yarn over, find the front post. There it is. It's right there. Alright, and then if you pull, you'll see there's a little gap there. So yarn over, you can go, just there. Come out the other side, bring your yarn forward, yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops. Give yourself a little slack so you can get yourself back up to the height of the current row that we're working on. And now yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Okay? And as I said before, you can use the stitch marker if you're confused. Is it this stitch or is it this one? Well, in actuality, the stitch should mostly be covered by the front post double crochet, so you should know that it's the next one. But, you know, looking here, I can kind of see part of that top, so I might get confused and think that's it. Also, if your tension is kind of inconsistent, looser in certain areas and tighter in others, then yeah, maybe that is the next stitch. So yeah, it all just depends. But I don't need the stitch marker, so I'm just going to go confidently into that one because I know that's the next one. And I'm going to make my 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then we can always flip it and check. You can see one available top right there. Okay? So I was right. Alright, let's do it again. Now it's time for the front post double crochet. Yarn over. Here's the front post there. Find that little gap. Go from the right, from the front on the right side of the stitch out to the back. Now back out to the front on the left side of the stitch, just around the stitch. Bring your yarn forward, yarn over, pull through to the front for 3 loops. And now give yourself a little slack to get yourself up to the height of the row. Okay, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And then commence with your 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then you can go back and check and make sure you see an available top. Okay? Alright, one more time. Yarn over, right side, come out to the front on the other side. This is a front post double crochet. Give yourself some slack. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. 3 half double crochets. So I see that available top. So there. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then one more time. Yarn over. Here's the front post. So that very easily identifiable gap. Go from the front on the right side out to the back, back out to the front, just on the other side of the stitch. Bring your yarn forward. Yarn over, pull through to the front. Give yourself a little slack. Yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2. Okay, because it's a double crochet. Alright, and then these last 3 stitches are where we're going to make our half double crochets. So 1, 2, and then if you can't see it, rotate, give yourself that aerial view, find the top that way. 3. Okay, and now it's time to repeat row 4. So remember row 4, you just chain 1, and then it's half double crochets all the way across in every stitch, including into the front post double crochet that you made. Okay, and then once you get back, it's the row where you do 3 half double crochets and 1 front post double crochet. Alright guys, so now it's time for you guys to go on autopilot. I'm going to get some length and I'll check back in before wrapping up this video. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so it is indeed time to wrap up this tutorial. I have basically used this whole skein of yarn. I wasn't planning on it, but I'm like, you know what, I'm going to really make this into a nice thick, super warm scarf, and it really is a beautiful pattern. So I ended up pretty much using the entire 197 grams, which is like 402 meters or 440 yards of it. Obviously, You don't need to make yours that long, okay? And my scarf ended up being about, what is it, 82 inches, which is about 208 centimeters. So yeah, this is a big baby. Alright, so I am going to chain one. I could pull all the way through because, like I said, I'm almost done. Obviously, I'm going to cut that down because I don't want to have to weave in that long of a tail. So I'll cut my yarn, and then I'll grab my darning weaving tapestry needle and weave in through the stitches. By the way, I did end with a row of just half double crochets so that it is symmetrical. So I encourage you to do the same. I encourage you not to end with the row where you do the front post double crochet, because then it's not going to look super like the way you started it. Remember we started with the row of half double crochets after that row of single crochets. Alright, gotcha. And yeah, that's it. Let me zoom out and I'll show you the finished beautiful product. Alright, so obviously I'm not going to be able to get this whole thing into the shot, but as you can see, it really is a beautiful pattern. Okay, this is a beautiful pattern. It's very simple, and as I always say, you can take the simplest of stitches, and if you consistently repeat them, you can end up with something just that's magnificent like this scarf. Let's see. I think it could serve as a reversible scarf. Yeah, the magic is here, but I think there's something to be said about this side as well. It has its own little pattern, so if you want to wear it on this side one day, you can. Or you can wear it, you can be fancy and show off this beautiful design. So yeah, this is the famous, I don't know if it's famous, but the Fairbrook scarf. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video, but I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, happy crocheting.